So it's been a few months since Egghead has been done. It's been finished, and now we've moved on to Elbaf right now. And to be honest, this is one of the best arcs, if not the best pre post time skip arc in One Piece. And I I have a feeling a lot of you would agree, even if it's like recency bias. But like this arc has improved on so many things that most people always complain about Oda. If it's the pacing, maybe the villains. We got more lore in this arc. This arc is the arc where if you had any doubts about Oda, it has been restored no matter what. If you could be a One Piece hater, you could be a One Piece lover. I have a feeling we can all agree that this is the arc. This is one of the best arcs in One Piece. And without a doubt, I am 100% sure this is just the best arc. And you know what? Let's carry on. Let's actually start the discussion about why Egghead is a perfect arc. So Egghead, we start with like one of the first few things we see is obviously Luffy and now they go into the island of Egghead, the land of science, things like that. We see Vegapunk, which we've been waiting to see for a long time. People have been talking about, especially that island that Robin was from. I can't really remember, but we get to see him, and he is such an interesting character, which I will wait on talking about him. I'll talk about him later. But one of the first few things we see is the Seraphim, which are kind of like the Kuma replacement, the Gorosei and the world government. And they use these Seraphims, which are basically like replicas of warlords. Actually, it is the replacement of Warlords, where we get Mihawk. I think their names are like SS Mihawk. We see Boa Hancock. We see Doflamingo. The fights in the anime, anyway, amazing. We get to see them fight. They are really good, like an addition to the arc. And yeah, they were really enjoyable to watch, and they were actually pretty threatening. Although you never get the feeling that they're gonna kill anyone, like in the sense that they're gonna kill any of the Straw Hats, but they were clearly shown to be powerful from the get go, which were it was an improvement from the last arc, Wano, where we seen one of them. I can't remember the names, but I think they turn into like dinosaurs or whatever. I'll put it there, and they did not feel anything. They did not feel threatening at all. And to be honest, it felt like they were wasting the screen time. The little screen time we had, due to a One Piece episode with slow pacing and that, the little time we had, it felt wasted on them guys. They just felt throwaway characters. But this arc, Seraphim, absolute amazing addition. They were cool. It was nice to see them have different Darrow fruits to the predecessor, I would say. Like Seraphim Mihawk would use a different Darrow fruit than Mihawk. I don't even think he has a Darrow fruit. But anyway, next thing is actually Vegapunk. I'm sorry. Sorry. You're overcooked with this guy. I don't know what to say. Vegapunk is just he's such an amazing character. He's well written, especially his backstory with Luffy's dad. I don't know why I can't forget. I forgot his name. Dragon, yeah. And his connection to Kizaru. Kizaru, really interesting guy as well. But Vegapunk, especially his message to the world, we get to hear about the world sinking. And Oda actually improved in another thing where usually he might even drag out his speech. Like when he was about to do his speech and they said, "Oh, we're going to do a 10-minute delay." I was worried. I was like, Oda, are you going to drag this out? Are you going to just show us all the random fights that we literally don't care like he did in Wano? But no, next chapter, boom, we get into the speech, which was just amazing. We get a lot of information. We even get to see everyone, their reaction to it, which is just it builds like I don't know what the word is, but like it feels like the world. I mean, the world is literally watching this and this arc. And I feel like Oda does this really well, especially like with Marineford, where it has a big impact on the world. Whatever happens right now has big impacts, which a lot of authors, even my favorite Kubo, where I don't feel like it gets to that stage where the world is just in shock or they're going to be affected because of this one arc. It feels like sometimes with some authors, once we get past the arc, boom. Anything that's connected to the arc, we kind of forget, or any implicate, anything bad that happened because of it is just kind of forgotten, or nothing much happened to it, or nothing. There was not much impact on the rest of the world or the manga world, let's say. But that was me yapping. But Vegapunk, amazing. We see his speech obviously, and then Kizaru, he is a really mm, his writing in this arc was really cool. Where like at the beginning he came as like a cocky, let me smoke Luffy. Luffy is I think is his first time fighting with an admiral. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, that was a decent fight. It was on a weaker side. I was kind of forgettable, but I still enjoyed the fight. And then we later see he kind of struggles. Um, I don't know, dealing with his morals in the sense that does he want to kill his own best friend, which we find out is Vegapunk, obviously, due to that flashback I talked about earlier. And you just see him really like questioning himself, and then he just gets to a point where like he struggles to be a world government's pet. And also, we see I think I heard it from somewhere, don't quote me on this, where he actually helped Luffy when Luffy went Gear 5, he goes back to his old wrinkly body. He was the one who actually gave him the food, according to Oda, according to people who said that, but I don't know if that's true. If so, W Kizaru, because that kind of is a slow character development into probably him rebelling the world government. I don't know if we will get to that stage, but he might be like the water guy. I forgot his name. Kizaru, not Kizaru. Aokiji. I always forget how to say his name, but he might be like that, where he leaves the world government, forget about being an admiral. I don't know. I don't know where he will be. I am really interested in his fate at the end of One Piece, which will be interesting, obviously. But anyway, next one is the fights. I would take a break from talking about the characters. I think fights is maybe the weak link, and it's only because everything surrounding it. Where I feel like the fights, obviously, I don't think they hit as hard, especially when you read in the manga. One Piece, they're usually gonna kill it because of the animation and things like that. But I always feel like fights is always a One Piece weakling. I don't know why. I just don't think I'm that invested into the fights as other animes or mangas. And this one, especially this arc, especially, I feel like I wasn't invested in it at all, apart from the beginning. And that's only because we were getting Kuma's flashback, we were getting lore drops, we were seeing Blackbeard, we were seeing Garp. Actually, them fights were actually good, especially Garp, the kid, I forgot his name, but pink hair, he did his bits, so cool. There was a lot of things that happened in this arc, and a lot of interesting things that happened. It wasn't just a lot of random things we didn't care about. There was a lot of things that happened. Oda does that well anyway. But yeah, that's enough with fights. Kuma, that's cool. Oh, we all know Oda is the king of flashbacks. Let's be real. We all know that. But Kuma's flashback, Kuma and Bun, it made Kuma an A-star character. Without a doubt. And Bonnie, you obviously, I feel sorry for her as well. But Kuma, his dialogues is just him, right? I think he wrote a letter to his daughter just before he turns into the thing we see him in Thriller Bark, mindless creature. It was really sad. I mean, we obviously see Vegapunk involvement in this, and also involvement in the flame. It's like a It's like a destructive power, world of like destruction of war. Where, it's like he has some sort of weapon of war. Actually, that's the word I was looking for. Where we see it against Sabo as well, but I don't know if he was the one who made that. But it was just something to do with the flame thing. I fully forgot, but he was developing that as well. But anyway, but that Kuma flashback. Oh my god, that is so sad, and I really can't wait for it to be animated. Oda's again just pulling up his flashback game. He's really good at flashbacks, backstory, whatever. He's just that guy. Next, the second to last point I want to talk about is the Gorosei, which is another disappointment because I felt like they weren't threatening enough. Like, you know how I talked about the Seraphins? I felt like they were more threatening than the Goroseis. Gorosei's designs were good, and they were obviously inspiration in, I don't know, Chinese lore, folklore. I'm not sure. But the only guy I rated is the guy on the horse. That guy was chasing, I think it was Nami, Zoro, whoever was on the boat when they were trying to escape the island. That guy was on their tail, bro. He did not give up. He was actually posing a threat, and I really want to see more of this guy because he's not on fraud watch. The rest of them, fraud watch. Saturn definitely. I don't know what he was doing. It's good he actually died, and the way he died was pretty like humiliated and brutal. Emu, the way she just sucked him out, pause. And I'm saying she because I think it's she. That's because she's connected to, what is it, Vivi? I'm assuming it's a queen. I have a feeling. Like when there's all men and I don't know, man. My theory is a she. But anyway, after Saturn dies, we see Garling, which I'm assuming is Shanks' father. It has to be. And we obviously see he's involved in God Valley, and we see his younger version, and we also see Uma was involved in that shit, which is actually really cool. And he gets his fruit, I think, in that area, which is that's just another law. Law is just there's so many information that's just packed into this arc, and it is an amazing arc. But anyway, we see Garling actually gets promoted to the Gorosei. I forgot what his title was, but yeah, that was one of the last things we see, and then we end the arc, and then we move on to Egghead. But then we move on to Elba. But Egghead, the pacing, perfect. It is really good. Fighting is decent. Obviously, it's like a 7.5, so 8 out of 10. Obviously, characters involved. So I feel like the Straw Hats wouldn't actually involve that much, which I don't know if I want to say that's a bad thing. I don't think it is. I wish Frankie was maybe more involved, or Rob. Robin got involved in the next arc because she sees Soul, which is actually that's amazing. Obviously, maybe Frankie should have been more involved, or maybe this should have been his arc. But not every arc needs to be the arc for a Straw Hat. So I'm not that pissed about that. Yeah, I said pacing was amazing, fights were decent, flashbacks were amazing. All the little side plots we get, like Sabo, and we got Garp, Aokiji, Blackbeard, Boa, Boa v Blackbeard, I think, and then we see Rayleigh as well. What an arc! What an arc! What an arc! I mean, all that you cooked. That's what I'm gonna say. Um, there's not much I can say about this arc. It's just an amazing arc. It's a 10 out of 10. And let me say this before I go. I feel like this is the only arc post-time skip that is a 10 out of 10 arc. No, without a shadow of doubt. I'm sorry. There's not an arc in I know people. I was about to see Wano, but if it wasn't for the third part of the arc where the pacing just went to shit, we kept seeing random fights which wasn't important. And to be honest, Gear 5 literally saved that arc. The ending of that arc. Oh, also the ending wasn't that amazing. Like we don't know what happened to Kaido or Big Mom. But anyway, Egghead is the king of post-time skip. I don't know where I would rank this overall. It is definitely top 3. Usually I pick Marineford, Egghead, then Wano. And I think I will pick that and then Impel Down. And then the 5th is probably maybe Drum Island. I really love Drum Island. That's my top 5, by the way. What's your top 5? And anyway, till next time, subscribe, like, comment, and yeah. Anyway, peace.